Today, we're going to dive into a world that's kind of hidden in plain sight, right along the coast of California. It's this world of plants that are surprisingly tough, unbelievably beautiful, and as we'll see, incredibly fragile. I mean, just look at this thing. It's almost alien, right? A perfect chalk-dusted rosette that looks more like a sculpture than a living plant. This is a Dudleya bretoni, and it's one of the stars of our show today. But its wild geometric beauty? Well, that's just the start of what makes these plants so fascinating.
So let me ask you a question. Could a plant live for a century? It sounds like something from a fantasy novel, doesn't it? A plant that could actually outlive a person. But what if I told you it's totally real and it's thriving in some of the most difficult environments California has to offer? Just hold that thought.
To really understand these incredible plants, we've got to first understand their home, and it's a place that scientists have given a very special name, the California Floristic Province.
Now, this isn't just the state of California we're talking about. As you can see on the map, this unique zone actually stretches all the way from southern Oregon down into Mexico's Baja California. Its climate is what they call Mediterranean, hot, dry summers and cool, wet winters. And that combo has created this perfect little evolutionary pressure cooker.
Okay, get ready for this number, 60%. That is how many of the plant species in this region are what we call endemic. That just means they evolved right here, and you literally can't find them anywhere else on the planet. This isn't just a state, it's a global biodiversity hotspot. It's a huge deal.
All right, remember that question I asked about the 100-year-old plant? Well, it's time to meet the hero of our story, a group of succulents with the most incredible common name you've ever heard, the live-forevers.
So the official genus is called Dudleya, named after a Stanford botanist, William R. Dudley. These guys are masters of survival. They're built to get through California's super dry season by storing water in their fleshy leaves. And because of that, some of these amazing plants can live for 50, 70, or even up to 100 years.
And don't think for a second that all Dudleya look the same. The diversity is absolutely stunning. On the left, you've got that massive, pale rosette of the Dudleya britannia. It can get up to 45 centimeters wide. And then on the right, that's the Dudleya cymasa, a much smaller plant that just sets the inland rocks on fire with these crazy orange-red flowers.
The variety is just incredible. You've got these huge rosettes, and then tiny ones that are just a centimeter across, with flowers in pretty much every color you can imagine. But, and this is the tough part, all this diversity is really fragile. Over 30 species of Dudleya are already on the endangered list, which brings us to the threats they're facing.
Now, the Dudleya might be the star of the show, but they share the stage with a whole cast of other incredible survivors. So let's meet a few of the other jewels of the California Floristic Province.
This little guy is the Pacific stonecrop, and hey, you might have even seen this before. It's a pretty common sight, just clinging to rock faces with those cheerful yellow flowers. It's so popular and tough that it's been cultivated and is now used as ground cover in gardens all over the world.
And check this one out. This is Lewisia, and it was named for the explorer Meriwether Lewis, from Lewis and Clark. And even though it's a California native, this particular species is so beloved that it was actually chosen as the state flower of Montana. How cool is that?
But life in this unique ecosystem isn't exactly a walk in the park. For all their toughness, these native plants are now facing a brand new and really aggressive threat. They're in a constant fight for resources and just for space to live.
So to really get the threat, we got to understand the difference between native and invasive species. The natives are the home team. They're perfectly adapted to be here. The invasives, they're the outsiders that show up, have no natural predators, and just spread like crazy, choking out all the locals.
And here is what that conflict looks like in action. On the left, you see this delicate native, the little spring beauty. On the right, that's the sea fig, an invader all the way from South Africa. It was brought over for landscaping, and now it's turned into this invasive weed that just blankets the coast, pushing out native plants like our little friend here.
Sometimes, the threat isn't just this slow creep of invasive plants. Sometimes it's way more sudden and absolute. And to understand that, we need to look at the story of the coastal agave.
This is agave shawi, a critically endangered species. Its natural home is this incredibly small patch of land right on the U.S.-Mexico border. It is a magnificent plant, but its location has put it in a terribly, terribly precarious position.
And here's where the story gets really tough.
Our source material reports a devastating blow to this species. The construction of the border wall just decimated one of its populations, and it was reduced to a single genetic individual. See, without genetic diversity, a species loses its ability to adapt to disease or a changing climate. It basically becomes a ghost of its former self.
2. That's it. That's the number of distinct populations of the coastal agave left north of the border. It's just a stark reminder of how close we are to losing some of these species forever.
But this isn't meant to be a eulogy. It's a call to action. Because even for plants that are right on the brink, there is a story of hope. And it's being powered by both science and by regular people like you and me. So how do we actually protect them? Well, it's kind of a three-pronged attack. First, you've got scientific conservation at places like botanical gardens where they preserve the genetic diversity. Second, responsible nurseries grow these plants so people can buy them without taking them from the wild. And third, and this is where we all come in, ordinary gardeners become custodians of these species, creating safe havens in their own backyards.
And that really brings us to this final call to action from Zoya Akalova-Barlow, the author of our source article. It's a direct, simple, and powerful plea. The solution isn't just stuck in a lab somewhere, it can be right in our own homes.
You know, the story of California's succulents might be a local one, but the lesson here is universal. And it kind of leaves us with a final question. What irreplaceable, unique, and fragile wonders exist in your corner of the world, and what can we all do to become their guardians?